Jewish roots run deep in the Golan Heights. The volcanic plateau east of the Jordan River was first conquered by Moses and the Israelites 3,500 years ago. Jewish communities prospered here for 2 millennia until the Arab conquest. That presence then disappeared for 15 centuries. It was only the Six-Day War of 1967 that brought the Golan back into Jewish hands. Shortly afterwards, archaeologists discovered the ruins of an ancient synagogue at Katzrin, surrounded by a village dating back to Talmudic times. Near the synagogue was the house of a Rabbi Abun, identified by his tombstone found in the village ruins. Parts of the village have been reconstructed in ancient Katzrin. This house dates back to 400 to 700 AD, roughly 1,500 years ago. And we notice it was a typical house, probably quite well-to-do, as we see the fireplace where the cooking went on, as well as the various implements, cooking utensils, pots and pans. I'll say they didn't have Teflon in those days, but they had very well-done pottery. This is the family area, the center of the family's life, or known as the tracline, the living area, where the family sat to eat together. On stools such as these, we also see the water and wine jugs that were held in the same room. But what was so nice and so quaint is that at night when the lights are turning off, the children would lay their sheep mats down on the floor and go to sleep. Now, I used to do that when I was in kindergarten, and I remember I used to sneak up and get as much of the milk and graham crackers as possible when the teacher wasn't looking. Who knows what they did 1,500 years ago? Some things never change. Now, where did the parents go sleep? As we climb this loft, we find a bed. What kind of a bed? Or maybe a not-so-comfortable bed? It's no wonder some called people who slept in beds like these stiff-necked. At least the parents could have some sense of privacy here in the loft. Under the sleeping loft was the storage area. This is actually the threshing board that threshed the wheat and the barley with embedded basalt stones. These black little stones embedded into the board. We have the plow. The plow itself was made of wood, but the head of the plow was made of iron in order to dig up the earth that was very hard up here on the Golan Heights. And this grinding wheel is what would grind the wheat or the barley into flour, poured down through here, and then the women or their young daughters would grind this wheel. The porous volcanic basalt rock of Bashan, or the Golan Heights, provided ideal material for the manufacture of grinding stones or millstones. These were exported widely. Most of the grinders used by Jerusalem housewives 170 kilometers away would have originated here on the Golan. They came in various sizes. In the morning, the parents would come out the loft, and they would enter the courtyard, where certainly they'd put on the oven, the outdoor fire, a good pot of coffee. Yeah! Who let the dogs out? Woof, 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 woof. No, they didn't have dogs here. They probably had chickens. Bluck, 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 bluck. Ever wonder how in these homes they kept the rain out during the winter months? Simple. They laid wood beams crisscrossed upon the structure of the stone house. And then, in the other directions, they laid small sticks along, very compacted together, and then would pour and fill this whole area with mud and use this heavy roller pin to flatten it out and make it waterproof.
Do you want to stay informed of what's happening in the land of Israel and with the Jewish and Arab people, but are unsure of where to turn for reliable, up-to-the-minute information and news from a biblical perspective? A perspective that's often overlooked by the major news outlets? Well, look no further than the Jerusalem News Network. A wealth of information, comment and up-to-date news direct from believers living in Israel. We have a range of free regular resources to all those interested in what is happening in modern-day Israel. To receive our free Jerusalem on the Line email update delivered direct to your inbox and now available in multiple languages, go to rootsforyou.tv and sign up today. Alternatively, email us a request to be added to our mailing list to barry@rootsforyou.tv. This is the best way to keep informed of what's going on in Israel and around the world with the Jewish people.
Rabbi Abun didn't have far to walk to get to the synagogue.
Of all the excavations in Katzrin, the greatest find was the synagogue, where the activities of the whole community centered around both concerning school and judicial as well, and of course the place of worship unto the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. At the southern wall, facing towards Jerusalem, was the bima, where the rabbi would give his sermon or his message. It would be at this place that the Ark of the Covenant, which held the scrolls in a wooden encasement towards Jerusalem, as all synagogues face. This beautiful synagogue came to a tragic end in 749 AD when an earthquake struck the Golan Heights and much of the area was destroyed.
In the village square or common, I meet Shoshi, a Katzrin village resident or staff member who reenacts many of the ancient daily practices. Shoshi introduces me to an old snack food from the threshing floor, known as the Golan in Hebrew.
This was the snack food from the threshing floor, their version of popcorn or popgoren. Little bit of salt, very tasty.
Jeremiah the prophet was right when he proclaimed, "But I will bring back Israel to his home, and he shall feed on Carmel and Bashan." I guess that means me. I'm a descendant of Israel, and I like to eat food here in Bashan, feeding with these other residents of the area, the bulls and cows of Bashan.
Well, looking at the cows or the bulls of Bashan makes me really hungry, actually. Let's go see if we can interview one of them.
I just can't get them to respond to me.
Well, obviously, word has gotten out that some well-known actor from Roots and Reflections is looking for a volunteer in the fields of the Golan.
It's no wonder the Bible doesn't have anything positive to say about these guys.
Well, I've had enough of that popcorn at the Talmudic village, and it's time for some real food here at Chavat HaBokrim. That is the Cowboy Ranch, where we're going to literally eat the bulls of Bashan, or the cows of Bashan.
The restaurant exists for more than 25 years. It started when our local cowboys were making steaks for themselves. And little by little, there was no restaurant in the Golan Heights 20 years ago. And more guests came and started making larger and larger barbecues. And then it became a restaurant. 50 horses that you can do horseback riding in this beautiful area. We are right on the border with Syria. We have here four-wheelers, we have jeeps that are doing tours, plenty of animals and wild animals like wild boars that you can see, of course also snakes and other things.
So what kind of things are on the menu here? What makes this restaurant so special and unique?
Well, the main thing and the thing that makes us special, that we're serving the meat and all the beef is from the Golan Heights. We grew it here.
What a platter of meat. It's hard to be a vegetarian in this place, although I've heard you can also eat just grilled vegetables. But look at this. You have grilled chicken of the Golan, kebabs, entrecote, steak. Go for it. This is where the rubber meets the beef on the road. It is just wonderful. And the aroma, you can even smell the cows are organic and they're eating proper. Come on, let me hear you say it out there. One for you and one for me. I heard the guy say something over there about the bulls of Bashan. I'm really curious. Sounds like he's quite an expert on it. Let's go find out. Excuse me for interrupting.
We, the Jewish people, we eat kosher. You know, this restaurant is kosher food. The bottom line of Judaism is health. Healthy body and healthy mind. We eat animals that feed themselves on wheat. Since this area, the Bashan, Syria, and the Golan, is very rich in wild wheat. If you look outside, 95% of what grows around you is wild wheat. So the cow that grows here has got more potential of eating wheat than in other places. Since it's feeding on wheat, and since it's so plenty around, the cow is better built. This is the reason why it's called, and it's become a symbol. The cow of the Bashan is a symbol of a healthy, good cow. And for us, the Jewish people, cow is also a good food.
Batya says, I've been gaining weight with all these Roots and Reflections snacks and meals. What do you think? What about you? Send me a personal email. Maybe I can lose a few pounds horseback riding here at the Cowboy Ranch at Kibbutz Merom Golan, a great place to have fun in Bashan.
This one is called Tinkerbell.
It's been ages since I rode a horse. Ravid, a young guy from Merom Golan, has to give me a refreshment course.
So here we're riding, Ravid and I, and his beautiful gray horse and my Tinkerbell, beautiful brunette. And you know, you didn't know it was in me, but I grew up riding English saddle, but now I'm Western these days. The bottom line is, folks, Tink knew that I haven't ridden on a horse in a long time. She knew how to take advantage of me, but that's okay. I'll keep coming back to Chavat Bokrim, to the Cowboy Ranch, and I recommend that you do also and come to the Golan and ride with us. Right, Tink?
Today in Israel, 1 in 3 children live below the poverty line and simply cannot afford the basic necessities to go to school, such as pencils, books, and a school bag. The Pack to School project, run by the Joseph Storehouse, aims to address just that. Your gift today of $20 will provide one child with a school backpack. Or perhaps you can do more and provide multiple children with backpacks. Please call the number on the screen now or go online to roots4u.tv and give your best gift today.
Perhaps the greatest trauma experienced by Israel in the past half-century was the Yom Kippur War of 1973, on the holiest day of the Jewish calendar, when many Israelis were in synagogue. Egypt and Syria launched surprise attacks on the Jewish state. The Golan Heights was one of the 2 main focal points in that struggle for survival.
Mount Bental is 1,170 meters above sea level. It is a strategic observation point for the Golan Heights. Today's site is managed by Kibbutz Merom Golan, the first kibbutz established in the Golan Heights after 1967. What took place below us in the Valley of Tears between Mount Hermon and Mount Bental was one of the fiercest tank battles in military history. 1,600 Syrian tanks, together with 1,000 artillery pieces, attacked Israel, which only had 160 tanks in the area and 60 artillery pieces, trying to smash through the Israeli lines to come down on the northern plains of Israel. However, Israel succeeded in fighting back in fierce battles, destroying over 600 Syrian tanks, whereby the Syrians retreated, and a great victory, but at great cost, was won by Israel.
I asked Avigdor Kahalani, who commanded the Israeli tanks in the Valley of Tears, about that life-and-death battle for Israel in 1973.
We fought from Saturday afternoon, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And the ratio between us and the Syrians was like one Israeli tank against 10 Syrian tanks. We had a Centurion tank, it's a British tank, 105 millimeter gun, and they had most of the tanks, the T-62, 115 millimeter gun. They have better tanks than us. The main problem during this combat is when we fought during the night. They had infrared system and we didn't have. And during the night they saw us and they shot all over and we couldn't stop them. I lost most of my tanks during those days. The main combat was at the last moment on Tuesday, 9th of October, that we have decided already to withdraw from the area because we couldn't stop them. And you can imagine that many aircraft above us and try to figure out where we are, and they bomb us. Thousands artillery shell all over the area, and the main road behind us was closed by the commando, and we started to withdraw. This was the situation. And the last moment, my commander decided to move me forward. I was along with my tanks, but I knew that the Syrians listened to our radio. This moment I saw from far away that the hills that we used to be there invaded by them. And I decided to move from the left side because I knew there is a valley over there that maybe they used the valley like they did it before. And I found myself in the front of me with 4 tanks with 25 meter. And I was so surprised, I didn't know they were behind the rocks. And it's usually tanks fighting 1 mile range or no, maybe more than that. And I found myself in front of me, 4 tanks. I was alone. I shot all of them. Of course, it was a critical situation. And this moment after that, my commander asked, Victor, what do you think? Can we block them? I couldn't even talk. He said, you're in charge. And I've decided to go from the left side, and I found some position that I can see the Valley of the Tears. And I was with my tank alone. And I saw around 160 tanks crossing the border, coming to the valley. And I understood that those tanks take them a few minutes to be on the hill. And if they will come to the hill that we should be there, they will move to the Galilee without, nobody can stop them. And I start to move, and another tank joined to me, and another tank joined to me, and I prayed to the God, just give me to be on the top of the hills before they will catch the hills. And they, all the time I saw 3 or 4 tanks climbing to the hills. I didn't know where they are, and we shot them. We arrived, and the valley was hundreds of tanks. Some of them was from days before, some of them just arrived. And I ordered my soldiers to shoot, and we shot like crazy. And it was a hard combat. I lost most of my tanks. I think we survived 3 tanks, but we shot all of them.
So had the tank battalions not succeeded in stopping the Syrian offensive, for viewers who really have not been there or don't understand the strategic importance of the Golan Heights, what would have happened to the northern part of Israel?
We lost after 24 hours more than 2/3 from the Golan Heights. And they have a big success. The Hermon Mountains, it was the eyes of the nation. And all the south area in the Golan Heights was invaded by them. The brigade commander was killed, his deputy was killed. And they almost accomplished the mission on the first day. But we stopped them on the Sunday. And they didn't have success in my area. And they have decided on Monday to bring a few hundred tanks from Damascus. to bring them to the area and to accomplish the mission, because all the Golan Heights was in their hands. And after that, maybe have another plane to go to the Galilee.
And there's many stories, and one that stands out, that the Syrians halted their offensive, possibly thinking that they were coming into a trap or they were eating. What is the truth of what happened?
We have many jokes that we have joked about us. They maybe they didn't have enough maps and they didn't know what's going on. But it's hard, even for them. It was they were surprised, I believe. To start war against the Jewish nation and the IDF is not so simple to make this kind of decision. They were surprised. They came with better tanks than us. They knew the area. The ratio was unbelievable. It's a mission impossible. If I look back to this war, it's a gift from God, believe me.
This is the Valley of Tears, where the great tank battle of 1973 took place. It reminds me of the scripture in Psalm 121, "I will lift up my eyes to the hills, from whence comes my help? My help comes from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not allow your foot to be moved. He who keeps you will not slumber. Behold, he who keeps Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep."
We want to meet the practical needs of those living in Israel, whether Jews or Arabs. The Joseph Storehouse has been established as a channel of God's mercy through the distribution of food, medical supplies, and other necessities to those most in need. By calling the number on the screen and becoming a monthly partner with us, or by going online and giving a one-off gift today, we can meet the needs of more people in the land. Please give generously. Your giving makes a world of difference to those in need.
After that look at the history of the Golan Heights, it's time for another of Batya's cooking recipes.
So today we're going to do shakshuka. Can everybody say shakshuka? Shakshuka. Shakshuka is a Moroccan dish, and I love shakshuka. Many Israelis are actually having it for breakfast almost every day. And when you come to Israel and you visit here, in many restaurants, they serve it all day long. Shakshuka is actually made of peppers, of lots of tomatoes, and eggs. It's as simple as that. But peppers, we have lots of peppers. Pilpel in Hebrew. Can you all say pilpel? Say pilpel. Pilpel is this. Pepper. Pilpel. So we have green pilpel. We have spicy green pilpel. And then we have the red pepper. And of course we have the black pepper, the seeds of the black pepper. And we have also the paprika here that we're going to use. We have two different kinds of paprikas. And we will have salt and eggs. And of course, tomatoes. We have lots of tomatoes. We have crushed tomatoes, and we have tomatoes that I chopped in cubes. And as I said, this is called shakshuka. Now remember, shakshuka is made from pepper, pilpel, and tomatoes. Now, pilpel, in Hebrew you say pilpel for somebody that is very active. So you say, he is like a pilpel. Hu, kemo pilpel. So remember the word pilpel. So we're going to chop some peppers. This is red and green pepper. We're going to add a little bit of the hot pepper if you want. You don't have to. Okay, so now we're going to let it cook for a few minutes. I'll continue to chop a little bit more peppers. We'll add it to the frying pan. So we're going to wait for a few minutes till it's a bit fried, and then we're going to add the rest of the things. What we're going to add is the tomatoes, which is the crushed tomatoes, and we're going to add chopped tomatoes, these tomatoes, the paprika and black pepper. We're gonna cover it and let it cook for about 10-15 minutes. And when it's done, we're gonna add the eggs. 1 egg. You can put about 2 or 3 eggs. So as soon as they are tender, we're going to add the eggs to it. We're gonna take now the shakshuka. Look at this, it's almost ready. The way I do it is actually I make little holes and put the eggs. Oops, 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we let it cook for a few more minutes and it's almost ready. Shakshuka. Okay, Barry, look. Shakshuka for you. And for me.
Wow. Looking good.
I can't say this is your favorite dish because you have so many favorite dishes, Barry.
It's true, I have a lot of favorite dishes, but this is one dish that's actually quite healthy for men and women because of all the cooked tomatoes with inside.
I'm glad that I can cook
so
for you,
good.
Barry.
Yeah, but you enjoy it.
I enjoy it, and you definitely enjoy it even more. Right, Barry?
One for you. And one for me.
In a way, the Golan Heights can be described as modern Jerusalem's northern defense rampart, and towering Mount Hermon as Israel's eyes and ears, which reminds me of the scripture, "I have set watchmen on your walls, O Jerusalem. They shall never hold their peace day or night."
Well, it says, "He who keepeth Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps." I've got my shades on, protecting myself from the sun. It's good night on the oasis, or good night on the Golan.